I'm thinking of going back home at a time like this. It seems too risky to roam my world without bliss. I could be sitting under a tree, listening to the wind as it rustles through the leaves. Now my heart is ruined, wondering what more to do. Why don't I pack up and go? Take the next flight out. No one would need to know. And this dream's now in doubt. I'm so alone, tired, nothing more to loan. Expired. My choices haunt, they follow me everywhere I go. Just to be free, wondering what more to do. I seem to have lost my way, trying to fit in. I don't recognize a girl I see. The schemes and plans have all gone wrong, and now I'm faced with the lies I told myself. No more cameras, no more flashing lights. Back to my roots, out with these crazy highlights. Rip all these suits, stereotype. Is that me? All this hype couldn't be. I'm done with this. I'm over the show. Now I'm sitting here, wondering what more to do.
Greg Lasser, here with no other than the great Nat Wood.
Adjust your television set. You are fortunate enough to have tuned in to 30 frames a second.
You have spun that into the fact where the victim is now the perpetrator and the perpetrator is now the victim. And that just drives me crazy.
Hello and welcome to 30 frames a second. Do not adjust your television set. What you see is what you get. Today is Takeover Tuesday, and for those of you who don't know, we are the women that normally work in the background when you're watching 30 frames a second, and Nat is sitting out here either informing you or annoying the hell out of you, whichever he might be discussing that day. We're in the background. So we welcome you today. We are so excited to be here. It's a beautiful day in New York City. The beginning of May, and let me introduce my panel, friends and fellow executives for today. Next to me is Ms. Sheila Berry. She is the executive producer of the Gospel Showcase, producer of Community Cop, Dr. Albert and Lewis Gospel Hour. Next to her is Miss Neekee West, our communications specialist, and we are so happy to have her here. Next to her is the one and only Lajuana Ratcliffe. She is our life coach, and quite honestly, we don't know what we do in our life without Lajuana. So we are so happy to have her here, and quite honestly, the woman next to her, I don't see this show continuing without. I don't mind saying that. I don't mind saying that. I love the rest of you, but without her, Miss Veronica Kitt. She is the founder of the People's Film Festival, which we will be discussing today, and she's the producer and host and founder of the VK Report. She's also a director, an editor, camera person, all around boss lady.
Yes.
I like that word. I like that word, boss lady. And I always forget to introduce myself. My name is Lu Sierra. I am a runway choreographer and I hate to say ex-supermodel. I am a model. Still model today against my will. And before I forget, I want to give a shout out and thank you to Mr. Steve Harvey. His new book, Jump, he was kind enough to mention me in. Those of you who may have the book, turn to page 70. Don't ask me how I know that number. My mom. My mom. She's crazy. So on page 70, he talks about Lu. That's me. So, hello, ladies, and welcome to this beautiful day in May.
Spring has sprung.
Has it?
It is.
Is it here officially?
It's
We're not
here.
going to have any more cold days. Do you
I hope
promise?
not.
Oh, okay.
I'm speaking to the Lord.
Oh, claim it.
Yeah.
We claim
Sending
it?
out there. We claiming that.
All right,
Spring
we
is
claim
here.
it.
It's a reason now.
But where did Steve stay? I want to know.
I should have probably bought the book. He said while at Miss Universe pageant, there are a lot of things you may not know. For instance, there is a older sister. I'm gonna get on you by that older sister line. I'm waiting to see you, Steve. I'm waiting. There is an older sister who runs backstage and the choreography. She's demanding. He's called me demanding. He says she's very hard on the girls, but she's a life coach to the girls. I see her cry with them, laugh, hug them, chastise them, educate them. And all around, she's one of the best models. He really gave me mad props. I was very, it was a member of my church who brought the book to me and was like, "You're Lu with the Universe Organization." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Sign my book." I was like, "Oh, brother, the book is about Steve Harvey." No, look. So now, of course, my mother has 2 copies, one that can be touched and one that can't. You know, that's how moms do.
The book too, 'cause
But
I love
we
his
were
books.
very happy to have Steve Harvey there the last 2 Miss Universe pageants. He did an excellent job.
He did an excellent job.
He did an excellent. He did not mess up this time.
No.
He announced the right person. He did announce the right person.
They probably had big letters.
They did. They did.
Winner.
They did.
Seriously.
I wish I could tell you everything
I
I know.
actually thought Kenya or Miss Haiti was gonna take it.
I trained Miss Haiti.
Yeah.
Yeah, I train a lot
They
of the
were
girls
very
personally. So Haiti, I did train her. She did an excellent job, especially in interview.
Okay.
And the pageant will be on May 14th, Mother's Day. And I want to say we have some of the strongest women I have ever seen. I'm not supposed to have favorites. And there are just some women there that are going to blow people away. I mean, like, we have scientists.
Wow.
Yes, we have
So they're
scientists
kind of stepping
and,
it up a
and
bit
just
in terms
people
of what
that
they do. Yeah.
our
that.
first
Beauty
Native
and
Americans.
Yeah.
We just have women who are just above and beyond. So it'll be on May 14th on the Fox network. So
Because that's
we're
a
very
true
excited.
representation
What time, May
of
14th?
American women.
I don't know of the
Right.
time because I'll be in Vegas, so I'm always a little hesitant about. But it'll be on Mother's Day on Fox.
Oh, we
So
get to check
please,
it out,
tune
yeah.
in, and it's a good time with any young ladies, and it's fun, and and our new owners are very politically savvy when it comes to the questions. There are questions. For the heck of it, listen to some of the questions that are high on my list.
Okay.
Is the president's use of social media appropriate? These are some of the questions that might be in top 5. How do you feel about a person who is not a citizen, who has been working in the United States more than 10 years and have no criminal record, being deported? How do you
answer
feel
that.
about a woman
Right.
who gives birth in the United States? Should she be able to stay here just because she gave birth? And some of the answers would sound something to the effect, maybe the child can have dual citizenship. Where the child can have dual, they are sent back and the child is able to come in and out up until the age of 18, then he must apply for full citizenship, and there's a different standard. And with the person who's been living here more than 10 years, no criminal record, and working, he would have to become a citizen and given X amount of time, but would not have to go through the same guidelines as someone who is coming in for the first time.
Right, that
because
makes
he's
sense.
proven himself.
Right.
But you know my favorite question you might like? What should a group of people do that feels as if their government or officials are against them? And that could be anybody from Black Lives Matter to Mexican to transgender. Again, the question was, what should a group of people do that feels as if their government or officials are against them? And the answer that I tell the girls sounds good. The first thing this group of people should do is peaceful protest. Band together. Destroying your own community is never wise, but band together. The second thing, unique to our generation, take it to social media. You can find more help spiritually, emotionally, and financially. But third and most important, if you live in a democracy, vote. And don't wait till a presidential election. Vote for police commissioners, mayors, governors. So the answer to this question is threefold.
Tenant leaders,
Peaceful
everything,
protest,
stay informed.
social media. So these are some of the questions I go over with the ladies.
I love that.
Which, by the way, when I started working with pageantry, you could have knocked me over with a feather. But what I've seen, the college education money. Miss America pays for your college education 4 years and your future college.
The winner.
If you want, for Miss America, not Miss USA. But Miss USA then goes on to travel the world and talk about platforms and important things, and the level of confidence in interview, the level of organizational skill, prioritizing. These things grow in ladies through pageantry. And they don't have to win. I just seen girls who start out a certain person, and within 4 years, they're a totally different person.
Right.
So, on that
love
note,
that.
I just want to say what we watched in the opening. Nat, of course, Mr. Cameraman Extraordinaire, went to May Day. How many, does anyone here know what May Day? Because I just found out.
Please
I'm sorry.
explain.
I know,
Right.
I was gonna say.
I'm okay with being, it's okay not to know.
No,
it's
right.
not okay to not want to know.
Well, no.
Yeah, right. So May Day was
I think
formed.
I do, but I think it's, no. Go.
Yeah, it's not okay to
with the
stay
military.
ignorant.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not okay. May Day is the first day of May, and it was basically formed for people to rally. Labor, it's now become more of an immigration chance to labor with unions and things of that nature. Nat even told me that Union Square Park was one of the first places this began because it was called Union Square Park because the unions primarily came there. And this political day has opened up to a lot of issues: immigration, minimum wage, transsexual rights, all things of that nature. So that is what May Day is.
Okay.
For those of us who
It's
don't
always
know.
great to learn something new, right?
Yeah, well, you always learn something new with Nat. Stuff you want to know or don't. Or
This
don't.
Yes.
you made a little kids back, in the 50s and 40s, and up until the early 60s. Every 1st of May in elementary school, they would braid the maypole right in the center of the schoolyard if it didn't rain, and they would dress all in white, and they would put on their white gloves. It was one of the most beautiful events that I can remember. Matter of fact, in Harlem, on 116th to 117th Street, between 5th and Lenox Avenue, PS 184 was there. And if you look into the archives, you can see where they had pictures and everything of young people in the 6th grade braiding the maypole. And they did that all over the country, I'm told, in the South, in the West, all over the place.
Okay. So let's start with this summer, since this is the first time we've met this summer. Neekee, I understand there's a project you're working on that sounds really exciting. Tell us more about it.
We're going to get to the project, but I actually wanted to revert back to one of the questions that you were saying that could possibly show up for the pageant. And with Donald Trump tweeting, does he have a right to tweet? And I was actually watching a clip of the White House Correspondents' Dinner, and the host, he's a comedian, and he is Muslim and I think of Indian descent. His name is Hassan Minhaj or something. I'm sorry if I'm saying the name incorrectly. But he touched upon that even with the First Amendment right, the president is not beyond the public speaking out against him because, you know, as citizens, we do have that right. And he was also saying that the First Amendment right also gives the President Trump the privilege of tweeting because that is his right as well. Even if he's not utilizing it on the right platform in the right manner, it's still his right, even though he's the president, to pretty much speak out. And it's amazing to me that, you know, at times I feel like he wants to muffle that through journalism, like he wants to stifle that right. But yet, every day that he gets up, you can see at least 5 tweets minimum from him where he is utilizing that right. And it's just funny to me that he skipped out on the dinner. He was the first president since Ronald Reagan. And the only reason Ronald Reagan missed the Correspondents' Dinner because he was recuperating from being almost assassinated. So
well,
what
we
does
know
that say?
he doesn't have a friendly relationship with the media. Mr. Trump, I think, has a tendency when someone speaks against him, it's a lie or they don't know
Fake news.
exactly. Yeah, what alternative
Fact.
fact there? I'm so going to use that you don't even know. You don't. I'm not lying. It's an alternative
everyone
fact.
is
That's my
using
new.
these
When are they going to put it
alternative
in a
facts now.
dictionary? You know when they
Well,
put it in the dictionary.
It's official.
Yeah. But I
It's
think
official.
I think that's a marker for how society is today, that people lie so much to others and themselves that that's acceptable now. It's like, oh, it's an alternative fact. I'm like, no, that means it's a lie.
Yeah.
Like, people don't want to call a lie anymore. And I think that's really dangerous because
Very.
the kids coming up, they won't even know how to distinguish a lie, the truth. I mean, even saying, I remember growing up, my grandmother used to say, stop storying, stop telling those stories. And I used to be like, I'm telling the truth, Grandma. So, you know, I remember those days, and it's like, people would call a thing, and they don't now. And it's really scary how that is. And then somebody would lie and then just flip it off like, oh, it's not a big deal. And it's like, it is a big deal. Because the integrity of, like, this country and this planet is hanging in the balance. So. Crazy.
I wanted, and going back a little as well, I was touching on immigration and speaking to some friends. There are certain areas that are being targeted where they are literally stopping people saying, are you a citizen? If you can't prove it, we're going to go to the station house until someone can show us something that says you're a citizen. If not, you're getting deported immediately. There are 2 churches now in Queens and I think Brooklyn, I want to say a couple in Brooklyn as well, who are telling their parishioners what to do. They've brought attorneys in, they're telling their parishioners, and I couldn't help but ask one of them, because I didn't know, and again, I want to know, why not just start trying to be a citizen? Why not just say, I want to live here and I want to be a citizen? Because as a professional model, there was never a time I was allowed to work in another country that 50% of all my money was taken from me every fashion show I did. 20 for the agency and 30 for the government. Wow. Every single fashion week I did in Paris, every fashion week I did in Italy, for over 15 years, every place I went, 50% was taken. Yeah, and we pay our own hotel and our own airfare. Yeah, the agency can't guarantee we're going to get work. Don't feel too sorry. The lowest girl gets $3,000 a show. And the best can get 15 grand a show.
Wow.
So, and we can do 5 shows a day for 10 days. So don't feel too bad.
Okay.
But yeah, but 50% is taken. So every country I went to, I knew I had to pay into their system.
In
So
America, you
anyway,
don't.
what someone informed me of that I didn't know, that when they go to apply to be a citizen, they have to state where they live. And if they have a job, which is told a good thing, and write the employer name, it's checked out. They have to bring bills that they live in this address, so it's verified. And they can be turned down for any reason. And the minute you're turned down, you're deported. So many people don't bother to start the process. Because I always wondered, why not just say, if I want to live there, let me start to
Right.
try to be a citizen?
I think if if the government openly provided a path to citizenship, a lot of people would take advantage of that.
Well, I
you
was
know?
told there is paperwork and things, but they can say no for a reason that they don't have to tell you.
Okay, but what I'm referring to is if the government officially starts a path to citizenship, then you're going to have certain criteria that you have to meet, like how you just said, if someone has been in this country for over a decade, then they can say, okay, I guess a path to citizenship is like amnesty, and I think the government will be better offered that
But let's
people
talk
who
about
are
those
here.
who are coming for the first time, because we want to stop people from coming. We can never close our gates 100%. That's the undefinition of America. Other than African American and American Indians, everyone else came here looking for a better way of life. So if someone comes for the first time and says, I want to apply to be a citizen, define for me what you mean, that pathway, because they already have paperwork you have to fill out, what the standards are, and things like that.
I'm talking about in the aspect of it's being done nationally. And this was something that Hillary Clinton spoke about in her campaign, because there are millions of immigrants in this country. Now, I think this is where Donald Trump and his cabinet, they're getting stuck, because I think, I might be speaking off, but they did have something included in that package, but the reason why they started deporting or closing the borders is because they wanted to do something in that aspect. But now with all the legalities and stuff, it's like they're stuck. So I might be getting off, but personally I think amnesty might be the best thing and the more cost-friendly thing for the country at this point. You've been here legally, and aside from that, setting up a new system for the people who are entering. After they've provided the amnesty, then they say, okay, we're not closing our borders, but now for the people who are coming in at this point in time, these are the criteria that you need to meet.
But you think there are no criteria as of now for the new people to meet?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Excuse me.
I don't think so, and that's the legalities that they're going through now.
I'm confused. I have a question. Is it fair for me to think, or do you feel that this country is overcrowded? I remember when it was just 8 million. I noticed that there are people that are coming in from other countries, buying up urban property and building all of these high rises where people are building on top. And I'm thinking just about the fish alone. Will there be enough fish? Or will we have to fish out of the Hudson River? Or where is the water coming from? Are we getting to be like India or China? While all of this is going on, is that part of it? That's just a question. I feel anyone should have, on another note, looking at it in a different way, should have a right to choose where they want to live. But we're not going overcrowding other countries. Now it seems like everybody want to come to America.
Yeah, well, it's the land of opportunity, right?
Yeah.
That's
I
what
don't
they
think it's
say.
overcrowded.
I don't
No,
think
I don't think
I
it's
don't think this country is overcrowded. But I look at certain cities that are densely
That's very
populated.
yes.
Yeah.
So the certain cities are, but if you travel, if you go cross country, you see all this land that's
lot
just
of-
open land, and that's not occupied.
And then even in New York City, look what they're doing. They are allowing private organizations, realtors, to now build in city housing property areas. So they're using up this space because I guess they need to create housing, but yet here it is, you have all of this affordable housing, but there's so much homelessness.
Because they're closing down the housing projects, and now they're after the New York City housing projects. And there's actually a petition, the lady name, it leaves me right now, but she was at the NAN convention this week. And she came up to the mic and she was just like, there's so much homelessness, especially within the minority community, because they're hundreds and thousands in these housing projects that they're now selling and closing down to private organizations, privatizing, just like the prison system, to be more profitable. So they really do not care about the residents who are residing there, because it's capitalists.
Yeah.
It's about the money. It's about the dollar. It's about how you can make money and profit.
Yeah, with these restrictive rules and regulations, criteria, like if you have a family member who was incarcerated. So to me, it's almost like double jeopardy, because they went to jail and they did their time and they came home and were released, and now your entire family is being penalized for something that you did years before that you paid your debt to society. Who does that? Who comes up with these archaic laws? It's not even archaic laws. There's no thought behind it. It's just hate, pure hate. Someone, thought about, let's get them. I don't know. But
Another one of our top 5 questions that the girls really having a little trouble with, because they are really split on this. Is the electoral college outdated?
I think it is.
Definitely.
This past election has proved that it is. I mean, the popular vote is the vote of the people.
Yes.
And the popular vote is the vote that's
One
secondary.
man, one vote. How can you tell a young person, get out and vote? We need you to vote. Your vote counts. No, not really.
Not really.
No, not really. And they can say it, and you can't argue.
Trump said it. He said, "Oh, this whole thing, he said it was a scam," and he won under that.
But
scam.
he benefited from it, right?
Yeah, he definitely benefited from that. But that electoral college is just.
Well, the elite will not leave such a huge choice like that up to us, because we're the little people.
The people.
So-called
democracy.
Yeah, exactly.
We're the little people, but we're the majority, and it pains me that we're so divided. We're divided by social status, economic status, gender, religion, political parties, political affiliations, and there are people who would not cross party even if it's beneficial to them and beneficial to society. Just because they're Republican or a Democrat,
and
they will not
and
vote
they're embarrassed,
against.
but they won't, and that's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous to me.
Let's be part of the human race.
Exactly.
Let's be part of that race.
I think most people focus on their differences instead of their similarities, and a lot of people are is me. My agenda, me, especially in government. But if you look at on a personal level, most people are like, there's a selfishness there. Even if it's going to benefit other people, no, it's not my agenda, or it wasn't my idea, so no, I'm going to just stick to this way of being. And that's why it's this red tape and nothing moves forward. Like, get out of yourself and look at the bigger picture. Let's help people. People don't want to help people.
Exactly. When we start looking at it from a humane point of view and not from affiliations, we'll be so much better. I'm a Trekkie person, and I was watching Star Trek Voyager the other day, and 7 of 9, she's a Borg.
Love her.
And she was talking to Captain Janeway. This was when Captain Janeway was attempting to free her from, being a Borg. And she said, we're such little people. Humans are such little people with, little opinions. And that's pretty much going to be the death of us, because we do not know how to unite aside from our little opinions and how we feel. And you see it across social media. It's just like everybody has an opinion. Everyone has a platform. Everyone's a critic. And I don't know how we have gotten to this place where real is fake and fake is real.
Reality TV, absolutely.
Alternative facts, here we go. And you're
Absolutely.
seeing alternative facts across the board. Real is fake and fake is real.
Wow, that's really interesting. And but then over, you think about it and you ask, are we really truly free? If we think about it, do we really have these so-called our 10th Amendment rights or First Amendment rights to be free to speak, to do what we want? I don't know.
No, we're
in
not.
this so-called democracy, because look at the new film that's out. It's been out for a minute. 13, and then of course you're as black people, you are no longer a slave until you go to jail. Then you become a slave once again.
Slave.
So if they can take that from you, that means you never really had it. As far as I'm, concerned, we're just giving it to you for now. But guess what? If you cross that line, no one else has it.
But even living off the grid, even if you wanted to live off the
You
grid in
can't.
this country, there's laws against it now. Like you can't, and then they're even trying to go a step further and say that you can't collect rainwater in certain places. Like this stuff is.
There was a gentleman
It's
in
ridiculous.
Indiana,
I know in other
think,
countries
in
that
Indiana, where his property was taken from him because they wanted him, they condemned his home, which shouldn't have been done, but he wanted to live off the grid. And they wanted him to tap into the electricity that they were providing, and he was also collecting the rainwater. So he was completely off the grid, and they went and took away his land and condemned his home. So it's just like, we're all attached. We're all connected, and
It's the beast system.
Yes.
and
You know,
I was speaking to someone saying that I was speaking to someone saying that we're all connected, and we're all being watched, and there are no laws to govern social media right now. Everywhere you go, there's someone with a camera, and I think that's invading my privacy. If I'm online at a restaurant, a popular restaurant, or if I'm at a store, or if I'm at a carnival, there's someone with a camera putting you on Instagram or making you live. So you have no privacy whatsoever, and I'm just like, why wouldn't the government come and step in and say, you have to have this individual's permission in order to post them to social media or have them in your footage? But that will never happen, in my opinion, because it tracks everyone. It keeps
that's the
everyone
purpose.
connected, and that's why we will never
the
have that type of
The government
legislation.
came up with this whole social media thing, the World Wide Web. It was created to
And now
keep
he
everybody in
wants
the
to tax
web.
you.
God's eye.
Yeah.
But
It is
Now
God's
you're gonna
eye.
pay for it,
Which
too.
God, though?
Yeah, in another
not
way,
gonna be free.
say for instance, if you were in a car accident or something was going on, the girls that was fighting over on Fulton and Flatbush Avenue, someone picked up their camera and taped it. Sometimes it can work for your protection too. If someone's coming, behind you and you need help,
But how do we manage that?
Everything has duality in
Yes,
it. Everything
yes.
has light and dark in it. That's just the way this planet is. It's about the person who's using the tool. How are you using this tool? A gun
Exactly.
could kill somebody, or it could protect you from being hurt yourself. How are you using it? You could use fire to make a beautiful meal, or you could burn the house down. How are you using it? So I think it's how you use social media. Are you using it to uplift, to let people know what's going on, to gather people together? Are you using it to invade people's privacies, to make joke about people weight and their appearance? And people do really sneaky, evil things with this, because it's a powerful tool. And I think, I mean, my niece, she's 6, she has a cell phone. She knows how to record. That's a lot of power
It's
for a
addictive, too.
child to have. So, I mean, we have to really think about that. How
Yeah,
are
isn't
we
that
using
funny?
it?
Because I gave my nephew, my son, my brother has my nephew, and he's into video and camera and stuff. So I gave him a camera. And
How old is he?
He is 6.
Okay.
And so he recorded his mother and grandmother and all of them, and they were talking about me because he I said,
See?
"Look at this, thank you," because they gave me the chip back, and put because I wanted to download his stuff and everything. I said, so is it?
There you have it.
I said they sitting there talking about me.
Didn't even know.
Give him another chip, girl, and
Right?
keep quiet.
He recorded.
They're going to know now.
There you go.
Nothing wrong with the undercover
You're
general.
talking to
what's
me.
meant for you to find
You
out,
should have
you're
gave
going
him
to
the
find
camera
out.
yourself. That
Yes,
way,
yes.
But hey, it was meant to know.
It was meant to know.
Well, let's keep it in the light.
Yeah.
Since we talk about there's light and dark, let's keep it in the light.
But
let's
there
talk
are
about
good things, and when I
Yeah.
go out and talk to young people, I always tell them to pull out their phone and I ask them, what are the things that you can do with this phone besides just record or take a selfie? And like Sheila said, it can protect you, it can be your advocate, it validates who you, where you've been. There's so many different levels to this. And then now for us, of course, we all do TV and technology and stuff like that. Now it takes it to another level where you can get that whole augmented reality and virtual reality. And so
I
this
see
is
it
a
often in
powerful
television
tool.
when
It
they
is.
say print out the text with the date and the time.
Yeah.
And you got that timeline of texts when you're proving you never asked for your
That
money
is-
back.
yes.
You've been talking with this person for a month and they
Right.
said, give me my money. You didn't say I didn't owe it. Now
Now you in here in front of me saying you don't owe it, but the whole time you were
got
like,
it,
you're gonna
yeah.
pay it. I got you. Don't
That's
worry.
right.
And this, so I see it a
help you.
lot in a court of law.
Yeah, so it's
it does that.
And when I tell young people, like parents, they says, "Oh, what should I get them for Christmas or whatever?" Get them this, because there are, controls that you can monitor your child's behavior, but your child can learn. It's an
You can also
educational tool.
do what other parents do. Just take it away.
Yeah.
Oh, I take it away.
heck?
But
At
you
9
know what?
p.m.
Those kids, because
Some-
they get addictive,
But
though,
listen
it's
to
like
me.
you got to
There
detox.
is always somebody in control.
Yeah.
In every building in the world, somebody is in control. And if you are not in control in your house, I got news for you. Somebody is.
Somebody else will be.
Somebody in control. Now y'all figure
I
it
take
out.
my
But
son's
somebody
phone
in
at
here.
9 o'clock, 9 p.m., and I do not leave it in his room.
There you go.
Yeah.
That
Bring
way
the
he
room
not on
into
it
my
at
room,
night.
and then I take it off,
There you
and then I
go.
turn it
Gotcha.
on at 7
There you
a.m., and I
go.
see what came in.
There
And
you
there was a
go.
little 12-year-old talking to him and saying, F you. So I had to contact the little girl and say, this language is not becoming of you, and please do not ever contact my son's phone again. And then she apologized, but then she reasoned with me why she used that language. And I was just like, she didn't just apologize, but she reasoned, telling me that she had a right, she was within her right to use that kind of language.
Because he did
for my-
something?
because he did something. So I was just like, at that age.
These kids are something.
Yeah, right?
So
Oh my
I am
God.
constantly monitoring. He's not supposed to have social media, but his father was going through his laptop and discovered his social media accounts. So now, do we take the accounts away and then he just goes and manufactures another one under a
Yeah,
different name?
right.
So we decided not to take the social
that's
media
how
away
you
from
watch
him.
him.
And we just monitor.
Yeah.
So, we're social media friends, and I get to see who he's corresponding with, and,
And pop up
I'm
in
teaching
places.
him. So instead of taking it away, I'm teaching him the right way to use social media for his benefit. He loves YouTube. And I'm like, instead of sitting down and watching all these games that are not edifying to you, you want to be an entrepreneur yourself. You would like to be a pilot.
Create a game of your own.
Or why not follow the billionaires, the entrepreneurs, the pilots, and see how they got to where, like, use it to your benefit, use it as a positive tool. And I think that's what, we as parents have to do. The things that our kids are gravitating to, instead of like taking it, unless it's very detrimental to them, instead of taking away from them, empower them and teach them how to use it correctly.
Another.
Also,
Go ahead.
as far as social media go, all of you that take the time and cook this food and put on social media, please make it look decent.
Oh no!
Because a lot of you, and I have a whole lot of friends who I've befriended on social media, have put the most nastiest and disgusting meals on there. Keep it to yourself. Another thing, we don't have to know what you did when you got up, how long you stayed on the toilet, who you saw, and all of this foolishness. Keep the foolishness to yourself. Put something that is beneficial, because really, when you add it up at the end of the day, nobody cares. It's annoying that we had to look at you like that to get to the next person that have something to say. Thank you.
But that's the thing. Again, we all have opinions. In their opinion, that plate is beneficial to them. That plate is beneficial to them.
Only
What
them.
they're doing on their platform,
exactly.
and that's where the
like that.
opinions come in.
Right.
We may feel that way because we're the ones looking in, but what's important to us may not be as important to them, and they're showing us what's
Well, it's
important to
good.
them.
That's why they have the unfollow and unfriend button.
Exactly.
That's it. Now let's talk about
Okay.
cyberbullying, because that's another big topic for us at Miss
Melania
USA.
Trump's.
We asked, how can we curb cyberbullying? And the two best answers we came up with was, first of all, we need smarter people on the job. If there were centers set up in either in every school or every city that had people like the Big Bang Theory, who were geniuses, they could find when things were deleted, when things are moved, who sent what. We need that first of all, because honestly, parents my age don't know a lot of stuff when we're doing that. We're like, we're sorry, can you just get off? But Mom, they keep sending it to me, and
But secondly, and I think this is most important, I think we need harsher punishments. I don't think the consequences have caught up with the problems. I think if your child was proven to be cyberbullying, the first time you're warned, the second time there's a $5,000 payment, and the third time there's 100 hours community service for the parent and the child. Because what's happening is parents are saying, oh, your kid needs to toughen up. Nobody's pushing anybody. You need to toughen up in the world. They're not hurting her. When kids are committing suicide and doing really harmful things, and this is something our parents didn't have to deal with. There was bullying, and the whole community would be like, don't walk next to that Johnson house. Y'all know something wrong with them Johnson kids. Your grandmama would call you when you were in the street. Y'all ain't down there by them Johnsons, are you? Because everybody knew the Johnson family was crazy. But now over cyberspace in school, the kids can come out and they can be harmful. So I think we have to catch up with these laws, and we have to catch up with them quickly, because they're just not enough. There are not enough consequences for kids.
Educate, educate, educate. You have to
I'm going to
educate
disagree.
on every.
These kids know. Every kid I know that has been cyberbullying, I can say, you knew you were hurting them. Yeah, you knew you were going to get expelled. Good. I got to be home a couple of days. There was nothing. They knew more than what we knew. They knew when to hurt them, when it was best to hurt them. They told me what time of the day is best to go on social media when most kids look. Like certain ages and certain adults go in at a certain time. They don't, just like another bully that's not cyberbullying, a bully knows when he's hurting you.
Yeah, that's the purpose.
A bully knows when
But
he's
you know
hurting
what?
you.
I'm thinking about, like, as you're talking, you are right, because if we look at the traditional ways and how they would bully a child, there were certain rules, like New York City has a pamphlet that all these different levels in terms of what happens if you do certain things. They have that, but yet we haven't transferred that to cyberbullying, but they took it there. Now this is where the kids are. So you got to create some type of control so that you can regulate that, and then, yes, penalize in certain ways. You know, but not so, I mean, because, you know, growing up, like you said, that, you know, they tell you what time cyberbullying, best time to go. Well, we used to say, I'll meet you after school at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we knew the time.
My grandmother knew the most dangerous time was between 2:30 and 3, because I'd be walking next to Johnson's house. She knew coming home I had to pass that time.
Well, too,
so once
back then,
3:30 came, I was safe.
Parents were parents, and parents were home back then.
That's true.
They're
Well, my
not-
grandmother,
they're
yeah,
not
my
home.
grandmother was in charge of us.
Mommy and daddy working to pay these
But
crazy
that's
rents.
why, that's why
Yeah.
my first
Yeah.
punishment was the
Yeah.
parents have to know we are holding you accountable.
Yes.
Yeah.
We
They
are
have to know
holding
what's going
you,
on.
because
Yeah.
little Johnny and little Susie think they're invincible. Kids think, not gonna happen to me, not gonna happen
Oh,
to
I
me.
have a story to
And the
share with
Mean
you guys.
Girls
So
and
in
the
January,
Yeah.
my son's after school program director contacts me, and she states that your son's iPhone, an iPhone that I just paid like $499 for, was completely shattered. The screen, it was in a case. So, you know, I asked her, I said, how did this occur? And is there like an incident report? She said, yes, we took an incident report. The phone fell out of my son's pocket, and one of his friends, a girl, picked it up. But these kids at that age, their phones are their lives. So she knew the importance of the phone. My son told me, I begged her not to throw my phone. And she said, there's a case on it so I can throw it. And he told her again, please don't throw the phone. I don't want it to break. It's a new phone. And she throws it across the room, and even in the case, it shatters.
Oh my goodness.
So
She must
the
have threw it with
after-school
some force.
program is contacting the parent. The parent is unresponsive. They're asking the child for the parent number. I even asked the child for the parent number. She gave me an incorrect number. So the school has been leaving numerous messages for the parent, and the parent is just unresponsive. So now my son has a broken phone. The parent is unresponsive. The child is coming to school bragging that she did not get into any trouble with the parent, and the phone is not going to be replaced.
Is this the same FU girl?
No, this is not the same
he got
FU
what's
girl.
up?
Wait a minute.
And
You said $449.
it's an iPhone. I got him an iPhone. Yes.
Yeah, those phones are expensive.
$449.
Are they sure the parents have, that the school has the right number? Wow.
The school has the
parents?
right contact number, and the
Okay.
parent is just very responsive. The little girl is bragging. So now, because of privacy, confidentiality issues, they're not giving me the parents' information.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now the stance that the after school has taken now is that they're no longer involved.
No, they're not. They tried
So-
to reach out. They're not thinking, and you.
So I asked them for the incident
I would
report,
sue them.
and that's what I'm going to do. Because now my hands
Because
are tied.
they're responsible for whatever happens to that child while they're there in their care. So what are their policies in terms of property? If there's a policy saying that we will protect your property, or we're not responsible for anything
You know
that
what the
goes
next
on in
level
here,
should have been?
then walk.
The
you know.
next level should have been a request, a letter sent home with the daughter that has to be signed by the parent saying their parent got it, and it's for a sit-down meeting where a parent has to come
They're no
in.
longer involved.
No,
Oh,
but
so
that
wow.
should have been
That
the
should have
next.
been- yes,
and then
I
you
told
would
them.
have been invited.
Exactly.
Mhm. They would have been invited from 3 to 4. You would have been invited 3:30 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
So then it would have been explained. We have called you 9 times. These are the records. This is what has happened before the other parent come. We want to tell you everything so you're not confused. The other parent will be here, and we will sit in, and we have to dissolve this matter.
Exactly, and there's no accountability and responsibility because my son came home and he said, Mom, if it was the other way around, you would have already pretty much replaced the phone and made me
Done the right
apologize
thing.
to the young lady.
Done the right thing.
Exactly, you know, and I was just like, you know, it's so unfair. So now I have to show my son. So I'm looking up the New York state laws, and you know, it's saying that once I go through and sue the after school for the information, then I'll be able to in turn sue the parent because now they have a court document saying that they have to release the information to me.
Wow.
And when I sue the parent, even though the parent is there, it's going to be the minor child name that's going to be in the system for about until their adulthood.
So see,
for
the
good
parents
20
don't even
years.
get that's what they're doing. Not only are they
Exactly.
demonstrating the wrong role model for their child,
Yeah.
and then when the child come back and lie to them, why you lying to me? Because we lie in this house, Mom. Don't you remember
Well, it's
when we
a
lied to
question.
everybody?
It's not-
And the director told me this parent is a frequent offender of rules and regulations. So
Well, of
now
course.
your child, so once that 10-year time pass, and if the debt is still not paid, then I can go
Yeah.
back to court and add on another 10 years. So this can possibly follow this child for
This is
20
civilly?
years and affect her credit.
Right.
Question.
And interest is earned on it. You said
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Do you have a lawyer to see about this for you?
No, I can go do it myself.
Yeah,
I
you
can
can
go
go
to
to
civil
This is
court.
paperwork.
Yes, civil court.
That'll
Sue
be a
them
shocker.
sue them for the $500.
Like, oh, she's
exactly.
serious.
So exactly. So I'm just like, so now I have to go show you the type of parent I am and how I deal with individuals like you, and I'm going to hold you accountable because in no way, shape, or form I'm going to sit here and let my son think that that's going to be it.
No.
Yeah, and even if it doesn't go anywhere, but like you said, the 10 years or whatever, but at least you acted.
Yeah.
And your son
Exactly.
saw that.
Can
and
see
that's
that
important.
that's what we do.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're running out of time.
We
This time, I
are.
know. Listen, we have got to talk about the People's Film Festival.
Really quick. Okay.
We are
And it's
excited.
so interesting that we're having this great conversation about young people because, as you know, child sex trafficking is huge. Especially in New York City, it's a lot of. They just recently had a Black Lives Matter march from downtown where the Bull is, all the way up to Harlem, Marcus Garvey Park, and it was Find Our Girls because there were a numerous amount of girls that were missing in the Bronx, and just recently they closed a home, a sex trafficking place. Right in Harlem, on 116th Street.
What?
No way.
They had teenage girls in there. This is what I heard. But anyway, so
Wow.
this is, and the girls that were missing in D.C. So according to statistics, there's about 64,000 girls, particularly Black and Latino young girls that go missing each year.
And you're doing a documentary or there's a film?
No, the film, our opening night film is called I Am Still Here. It's about
And
a young
opening
girl.
night is when?
Opening night is is June 1st.
Okay.
And it's going to be at the Magic Johnson Theater. The
Okay.
filmmakers, everyone is going to be there, but it's about this. But what the beautiful thing, I Am Still Here, about a 10-year-old girl who's been snatched from her parents and taken in this child sex ring or whatever. And so they find her years later, and she's reliving and telling the story. But the thing that I like about this film is that it really takes you in and let you see what happens. And I'll tell you, it was difficult to watch for me. Like,
I know,
I
you
think a
even
lot of people are
talking
going to get up
about
and
it,
walk
like,
away
damn.
because it's so intense. But it is necessary. You have to watch
Leave
it.
it to you to open up on the opening night with a big old bam
Yo,
in your
this
face.
is a bam.
Take
It's a
baby
bam.
steps, Veronica.
But
That's
people,
why people
are
don't
doing
like
it.
you a
They're
lot.
marching. They're talking about it, and it is happening. So we have that. Opening night is just going to be amazing. The pre-kickoff is the art fest. So we have graffiti artists, known graffiti artists from back in the days, or a lot of the artists that we see that writes on walls or whatever else like that. We're going to have the live painting. It's called, with the art, it's going to have live painting. We're going to have DJ. We're going to have panels. We're going to have show of film. That's the pre-kickoff. That's free. We're going to have Tech People Expo.
I
so
see
we
the
have
Tech
technology. So what I was just talking about, the virtual reality, so that you would be able to really take your storytelling to the next level. So we're going to have panels and
Tell
stuff.
us
We
about
have a workshop.
the Oolies.
Oh, and that's for us. So the Oolies. So we're talking about the Public Media Award of Excellence, because here we are, public access producers, doing this work, keeping these networks afloat, and then of course, utilizing our freedom of speech, these airways in which we have control of. So we started it because of the fact that we feel as though these producers, independent producers that are doing this work, should be recognized. So we're going to have a breakfast that Saturday, June 3rd.
June 3rd. And where will that be?
That's going to be at the Julia DeBurgos Performing Arts
Okay.
Center. So it's like a couple of things, because I wanted to make sure that we tap into every area of media, of television, of film, every area in which you have the ability to speak, to talk, to showcase your work. Your work, the way you see it, and that's the goal. And like the interesting thing is that we have shared stories all over the world. Like we have a romance section, and the interesting thing is that we got a film coming in from London or wherever, and they all share the same experience as far as relationships are concerned and stuff like that. So we're so connected. And one of the things I wanted to do was just show that. So it's going to be exciting. Like this festival is going to be big.
Yay! Now,
Can't
Lajuana,
wait.
we're going to be running out of time, but I understand, Neekee, I understand that you're working on a great project that you wanted to talk about.
Yes, it's June is actually Gun Violence Awareness Month, and I'm working with Hip Hop Against Gun and Gang Violence, and it's the Hip Hop Summit Youth Council, and I'm going to be working with Charles Fisher. He's the founder, and the organization was founded in 2001. And Charles Fisher, he's the former manager of LL Cool J, the Lost Boys, and he also helped to co-discover R. Kelly. So it's pretty much an organization. It's going to be artists, athletes, actors, authors for activism. So we want to get millennials, students, young adults. We want to get everybody involved, because we're living in a time where we're going to have to depend on each other and community and build each other
Love
up.
it.
So
When is that again?
So we're going to be doing a media tour, and it's going to be starting pretty soon. So
Okay, where can they go to find out? What is there a
Well, they just-
website or a number or?
well, they can do hashtag HHSYC. We're on Instagram, Hip Hop Summit Youth Council,
Okay.
and information is there, and more information will be coming. There's actually a TV show that the guys, Charles Fisher and his two sons, Randy Fisher and Cherie Fisher, they're going to be doing, and it's called Hood Reports, Hip Hop Hood Reports, and it's going to be launched
I
on
like that.
Bonko TV. So it's going to be trending things, that's occurring in our community, and really holding ourselves accountable at this point. So I'm really very excited about it. And I'm also going to be working with Veronica for the film festival.
Yeah,
Well, me
she did-
too.
She did a fabulous last year when we had the Women in Media. That was so awesome,
Can I make
so
my
awesome.
announcement?
Yes, please go.
Okay, on Friday, May 5th, we're having the Gospel Showcase Artists recording music written by Pastor David Jenkins, who played for Shirley Caesar many, many years. And also in the Bronx, there will be scholarships presented to some of the finest scholars in the Bronx to attend Hampton University.
Nice.
This will be at Greater Faith Baptist Church, located at 854 East 167th Street, near Prospect Avenue. It's free, and we're having an out-of-town, she's known all over, I'm told, the world, recording artist that's going to attend.
All right, you have to come to find out, I guess, who it is. Don't say who.
Oh, I'm not.
We need you to come and attend.
And go to thepeoplesfilmfestival.com to get more information.
Absolutely, the People's Film Festival. And Lajuana, is there anything you'd like to?
Yeah, I'm working on a program called the Pathway to Restoration, where me and another coach will be working with men inside and outside the prison system. So we're creating a really great program, and we'll be pitching it to Rikers and some other correctional facilities really soon.
That's great.
And one of the things we'd like to say here, please get out and enjoy the summer. We often sit here and just talk about the memories we've made together. Memories are very important. These are the things that kids grasp onto. The summer is just not a time of, I'm out of school. Give your kids activities to do.
Yes.
Anything you can do with them, and everything here we've named, you are welcome to come. There's something, I think, for everyone. Tech person, hip hop person, pageant modeling. There's always something here, so get out, communicate, enjoy
some
each
vitamin
other.
D.
Get some
It was a
vitamin D.
long
It's
winter.
important, right?
Yes, it's important for your brain, your nervous system, your
Yes.
bones.
Yes.
And also elevate your mood. We need that vitamin D in our
Yes.
system.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you for
Oh,
saying
she took me
that.
to the
That's
reggae
important.
song.
Yeah, we need some vitamin
Elevate your mood. Wait now.
yeah.
My church member's gonna be calling me. What you meant, sister, about
about the
elevate your
natural
mood.
vitamin D, the sun rays.
Yes.
We need the
We have
sunlight.
truly enjoyed this time. I miss
it's
our
awesome.
Takeover
I know,
Tuesdays.
right?
We
Yes.
hope you love us as much as we love you, because we really, really do. Sitting in that room with Nat out here, sometimes we get really jealous.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
I'll admit. I'll admit to that. It's about time. All right, it's
that
time for us to
20
go.
seconds.
We don't want to, but we want to say goodbye for now. We will see you shortly. And get out, enjoy everything, and Takeover Tuesdays. That's what you've been watching. 30 frames a second.
Oh, it's a pleasure, ladies.
Excellent job.
Thanks. Good to
Once
see
again,
you
excellent job.
Right? Like free market should be allowed. People should be allowed to freely live. People should be allowed to do what they want in their bodies. But personally, I also just believe in race identity, which is just like knowing that you're like whatever race you are, and then you just want to keep it going. That's it.
Okay.
And then on top of that, it's a lot of libertarian stuff.
And you see those values as something that is
In opposition.
in opposition to
Correct.
what's going on
In
here.
almost direct opposition.
You can't have progression in a communist society. It's never worked out.
Like every time
And you see they're flying the fucking flag of the USSR that crumbled. That fucking.
It also killed millions of people.
So do you guys see
more than
communism?
Hitler.
Do you guys see
I see it as-
let me ask a question. Do you
Yeah,
see
absolutely.
like capital C full communism as a legitimate threat to American society?
To Western society in general.
To Western society.
It's a threat to everyone.
Okay.
Well, what about Venezuela? Not just Western. What about South America?
Exactly. Everything. The entire Western Hemisphere.
Okay, and you see, do you believe that there are, and if you don't, I understand where you're coming from, but do you believe that there are shades of gray at all
Yes.
between saying